Ghost hunters believe they can communicate with spirits of the dead. They believe they can transcend the barriers of space and time and see into the past. Actually make contact with the ghost of a tormented person and relive the trauma of some long-forgotten tragedy. Can a ghost be set free to move on to another world?
Seems to be almost frightened. This man seems frightened.
Psychics attempt to exorcise an evil spirit. If the ghost departs, will an in search of camera capture its image?
Strong male presence seems to center around.
This series presents information based in part on theory and conjecture. The producer's purpose is to suggest some possible explanations, but not necessarily the only ones, to the mysteries we will examine.
History and fiction both abound with reports of haunted houses. The family in this house is fearful of a demonic spirit that they believe is destroying the harmony of their home. A team of experienced ghost hunters has been summoned. A psychic, seasoned in exorcisms, Sylvia Brown, is placed in a trance in order to make contact with the spirit. In case any ghost should depart from the room, the in search of cameras are ready to document the event.
How are the circumstances at the present time?
This is a highly charged energy implant. And sometimes the only thing that can break this energy is prayer. Prayers must be said in this house. Prayers must be said over the man at the end of the table. Release all negativity. And whatever is in this house that is of any negative energy, we command by the will of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit that it goes on to progression and perfection. That there is no negativity left, that there is no black whirlpool of energy.
The camera does pick up the impression of something moving. Is it the image of a ghost or some random electronic impulse? Many people believe that a ghost is the disembodied spirit of a person who suffered an emotionally tragic death and who is imprisoned forever in that locale. The spirit lives on as a form of energy, a sudden gust of wind in a closed room, an unearthly cry in the dead of night. These are physical examples of the ghost reliving its final moments as a human. People who claim to be psychics say that by contacting these spirits, they can unlock the secrets of a haunted house. A ramshackle house with a mysterious past is the target of a ghostly stakeout. The Rule Ranch is 200 miles north of San Francisco and overlooks the jagged California coast. Recently, In Search Of arranged to bring a team of ghost hunters here in order to test their psychic skills. In the nearby village of Jenner, preliminary research is provided to In Search Of by Antoinette May, a freelance journalist. She questions residents for background information. The house was built in the 19th century by a rich and powerful family named Rule. Sometime during the 1920s, a mysterious tragedy occurred and the house was abandoned. The estate has fallen into ruin. Neighbors swear they have heard the sound of a woman wailing behind the walls and her footsteps echoing on the gravel drive. Undaunted by the legend, new occupants moved into the house 6 months ago, so Antoinette follows up.
Have you had any...
Jim and Laura Furlong have lived in the community all their lives and know the history of the Rule Ranch, why the house is haunted. But the Furlongs are not afraid of any ghost.
Was there any indication that you might be moving into a haunted house? Did people warn you?
The first thing I do is try to take a history on the house, interview the people involved, try to find out what may have happened in the house during their residency there or earlier.
They agreed to let In Search Of conduct the experiment. The psychics know nothing about the ranch, the family that built it, nor their demise.
That's out there.
Sylvia Brown and Nick Nocerino have been practicing psychics for 20 years, working in tandem on more than 200 ghost investigations.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, it could have been family, but it could have been work hands. This place must
They have sheep, but like I said, I felt like ghosts.
The procedure they follow is always the same. They begin to pick up psychic impressions by feeling their physical surroundings. Then they make contact with the spirits and thus can learn of events that happened long ago.
Really disconcerting.
Well, we get somebody injured by a horse, that's for sure.
Most of the time when Nick and I have worked together, he has been the photographer and I've been the trance medium. I'm the one that's gotten the impressions. It can be a switch off or whatever. We will confer a little bit. Almost like a running commentary, what I call psychic stream of consciousness.
Every house has some form of energy. We use Sylvia, for instance, as a way of gathering energy. She seems to bring the energy in where we want it so we can photograph it and begin to diagnose it, because energy has certain patterns to it and it tells us some of the things we wish to know.
Nick says that if a ghost materializes, it appears as a flash of light, too quick for the eye to see.
Maybe one more of the house, Sheriff.
By using high-speed film, he can catch that image. According to Nick, when a house is inactive, as in this picture, his photograph appears normal. But when the same house is alive with the presence of a ghost, the photo lights up as if it's on fire. As the house tour begins, Antoinette records impressions.
In the case of Sylvia and Nick, I try very hard to verify their stories. I have never gone on a house investigation with either of them that they haven't come up with amazing hits.
Well, we're picking
Not even this. I see a baby.
Sylvia and Nick claim they can conjure up images of the people who lived in the house long ago.
11, 12, 13.
Going from room to room, the story is pieced together.
But right looking out at the window, we saw her.
Yeah, coming up the path, you can see a woman in this window.
The 1923 date comes in very strong, and I feel that this was a meeting place, a lodge of some type. A lot of lights, a lot of parties, ladies dressed up in very, very elegant gowns. And the other thing that seems to come in really strong about 1923 is that's when I really first felt the trauma. I want to say Carmelita, dark hair, dark eyes, beautiful dresses, very lacy, very frothy looking, the kind of petite little kind of a accentuated chin, but I think she compensated by that by wearing a lot of rouge.
Get the feeling of hopping around.
Seems to be very female-dominated.
Yeah, this house is dominated by one man. He's a well-to-do man. Apparently he's got money. He's used to having his way. He's, I would say, a very obstinate man, a very stern man. He's a controller. He's a ruler.
You sure you're not picking up John Rule or John Ruler? Because it seems to fit together. See,
Yeah, John Rule. John
Yes.
Rule. Whoever he is, I don't like him.
Do you have any feeling of anything really dramatic happening here?
The girl's crying for some reason. Now, you know, I mentioned to you about the fact that she was going to be engaged, I think, but I don't think it ever culminated. The traumas that surround this place is basically female. And there was almost like an insanity type of thing going on with this female who was lost, almost running blindly, not being able to find her way. And I think she's dead.
The feeling that the girl died mysteriously prompts the psychics to explore the grounds overlooking the sea. Nick experiences a strong impression of what may have happened.
Of course, my back. Weakness bothers him. Well, my feeling is that he doesn't think very much of women other than the fact that they'd be used.
I feel that somebody was very, very upset, distressed, running away from somebody. But I also think somebody took the cliff. Because right down here you get this really strong feeling of depression, running, afraid, breathing hard, heavy. I think she's dead.
We checked later with Jim Furlong and older local residents. According to them, the psychic story is true. It coincides with what actually happened more than 50 years ago. The experiment is over. Sylvia and Nick have identified the ghost as that of a heartbroken young woman. But the Furlongs have no fear and have chosen to stay on the ranch. In other cases, however, homeowners are frightened of their ghosts and want help. At their next destination, will these psychics be able to free an imprisoned spirit? Nestled in the foothills of the Sierra Nevada mountains of California is a country inn called the Vineyard House. It has been a way station for weary travelers ever since the days of the gold rush. Journalist Antoinette May was contacted by the owners of the inn because they believe their property is haunted. The house was built by Robert Chalmers, a miner who became rich during the gold rush of 1849. But tragedy struck when Chalmers went insane at the peak of his success. His house has been plagued by unexplained phenomena ever since. Recently, experiences have become so chilling that guests, such as Marion Sharp, are afraid to spend the night. Marion had come here for a weekend vacation, but did not have a restful visit.
I awakened around 4 in the morning with an overwhelming sense of anxiety and terror, as if I had awakened from a very bad dream, but I had not had a bad dream. I was immobilized with fear. There was an acceleration of pulse and heart, and I felt terribly warm and highly agitated, and I was fighting tears for a period of time, and then finally I was crying. And overhead there was a light footfall, as if a woman were walking back and forth across the room. Then there began a series of banging doors, one after another, slamming. We could see nothing in the dimly lit corridor, but we could hear the slamming and banging of doors. Well, I'd be pleased to come to dinner, but there is no way that I would ever think to stay a night. Never.
Having nowhere else to turn, the owners of the inn asked the psychic team to communicate with the ghost in an attempt to free its restless spirits. Anxious to help, the psychics decide to spend the night. The vineyard house still affords the wayward traveler a warm fire and a hearty dinner.
Are they all this busy?
Well, this one has a lot of history.
Sylvia's husband, Dal Brown, and Nick's wife, Chris Nocerino, are also on the stakeout.
Yeah.
Did you take notes?
Yeah.
As they ready for sleep, the psychics jot down their initial feelings. A strong sense of apprehension falls over the house. Hearing strange noises, Nick ventures into the hallway and begins to pick up psychic vibrations. Also awakened from a fitful sleep, Sylvia joins him. The house seems alive with energy. The psychics try to communicate with the ghost, but contact remains elusive. Early in the morning, our ghost hunters enter the cemetery where the bodies of the original owners, Louise and Robert Chalmers, are buried. The psychics sift through all their impressions to piece together the story. Is there a ghost in the house? And if so, is it Chalmers who had gone insane? Or is it his wife?
I feel tragedy. I find almost a Romeo and Juliet kind of a tragedy. A woman who loved a very vital man, his demise, and her devastation from it. The woman that seems to be the strongest influence in this house, by the name of Louise, I think in some way has been tremendously maligned. I think out of pity, caring, and certainly love, that she chained this man in the basement in order that he wouldn't hurt himself. And I think in her mind, she felt that she just couldn't send him away to what we might think of an early snake pit type of confinement that they had in mental hospitals.
Somebody's singing. It's an old song. It goes something like, I come from Alabama.
Banjo on
Oh,
my knee.
Susanna, with a banjo on my knee. I'm coming to thee.
I feel that Louise is still in a protective situation in the house. And even this stone is almost like a symbolic reminder that she's still going to overlook her house and protect, let's say, her domain. Her personality is so strong and protecting that it's she that walks the halls. And I think this protection has lasted beyond the grave. I think she's here.
Well, I think Louise is very despondent over losing her money, her land, and everything, and she has a possession on the house. She still sees the house as fulfilling her ambitions. And there are no ambitions to be fulfilled here. She'll be there a long time.
Sylvia and Nick say they are unable to expel the spirit of Louise because her presence, her guilt, is too strong. Ghost hunting is at best an inexact process. What determines success or failure is often in the mind of the observer. The ghost seekers believe they have failed, but only future guests at the Vineyard Inn will be able to make such a judgment. Psychics who are sensitive to the supernatural claim it is possible to contact the spirits in a haunted house. Traumas, such as a broken love affair or an untimely death, prevent these spirits from accepting their own demise. Supposedly, they linger in our world, trapped by their own turmoil. Ghost hunters try to comfort them, but they are not always successful. Sometimes the ghost may be freed from bondage. Sometimes it may be imprisoned in its earthly home for eternity.